What's already at Someone? Today we are back once again in Lord of the Rings Realms in Exile for another video, and this time it's one that we've kind of done before. So a long time ago, I want to say like a couple years ago even, we did a series playing as King Gimlahad, which you guys, I think it might even, or Gimlachad, I think it might even be the most popular, or one of the most popular series I've ever done, where we played as the Black Numenoreans, although their faith has been changed since then. However, I was told by one of the developers that you can actually play as his daughter, and apparently she has about as much story content, or like similar amounts of story content to the recent War in the North video that I did, which I really enjoyed. The story isn't finished, but I figured we would come in and maybe like check it out just to see what that's like, and I thought that would be pretty cool. But to get to her, you have to start off as High King Gimlachad, so let's do that first. And obviously you start off here in the little island. If you're wondering where they are, they're off the coast of Umbar. And I've never read this faith, so let's just read it. The something Aru refers to the cult of worship of Ar-Pharazôn the Golden as an immortal god king. This faith holds that Ar-Pharazôn the Golden triumphed in his war against the Valar, but in the process the Undying Lands and the Anduin, now to a hallowed eternal land, were removed from the world and the way lost to those left behind. Ar-Pharazôn took up his throne as the new great god. Arminolith? Oh, Arminolith, yes, remained from ruin as a glorious temple city enthroned. From the new eternal Anduin, the... Oh my god, that word is insane. The Aru watches over all his people left behind and yearns to guide them to glory and eternal life in his new kingdom. To achieve this end, lesser men must be offered up in his name. Blood shall flow in the temple, sustaining this broken world by the grace of Aru, of this new Aru, until the glorious day, when the worthy shall ascend to his eternal kingdom. And they have Warmonger, gruesome festivals, which it looks like they get piety from executions, and birthright of the Andunai. I think I was saying the Anduin, the Andunai. I think I was saying it wrong. The Andonak, people are descended from the Black Numenoreans and the King's Men, I see, okay. Dominion of the Dark. Oh, we consider Dark Fates of like Sauron righteous, okay. And the character that we're going to be playing as today would be Arphazel, and with the way that we do that, I'll show you guys how to get to that, because I was testing it out in the background, and there's a couple ways where you can kind of mess that up and not end up playing as her story arc, so we're just going to do it this way. So we hit go. And I will read this just because I don't think I've read it in a long time, and why not? On a lonely archipelago in the Belagar dwell the self-proclaimed Ar-Adunaim. Visitors may find two different experiences here. Those who bear the blood of Numenor find a welcoming group which carries itself with dignity and honor. Those that do not, however, find themselves abused and spat upon, detested and treated like nothing more than feral dogs. Such is the nature of this exiled group of blood purists cast out from the haven of Umbar for their radical views. Arising shortly after the arrival of Castamir the Usurper, for years the blood purists were merely another faction within Umbar. In fact, they still hold some sway in the city even after their departure. But the Ar-Adunaim begin to agitate for a great cleansing of the havens, yikes, which would bring about a restoration of Numenorean purity and be the herald of a glorious reclamation of their long-lost empire. Pragmatists in Umbar ultimately were forced to act when a rally transformed into a lynch mob that resulted in a fire, devastating a large section of the port. Since then, the Ar-Adunaim have stewed on their rocks in the sea, awaiting the beginning of their great crusade. Their leader, Gimlachad, claims to have spoken with their august ancestor Ar-Pharazôn. If they keep the faith and offer sacrifices in his name, then the second Aru shall bring forth the great armament of old, and the armies of Anadun shall once more roll over the land. The reclamation is coming. Anadun shall rise again. You get an army of 400 men for that. You obviously don't have to just play as this character. You can play as, you could also just play as this guy. He's a really cool character too. And they get pretty strong men-at-arms. These Royal Guard are insane, and you can kind of go crazy on Umbar. Not super long into this campaign. Like I said, I did a series on this, and I think it took me like 7 episodes to take over almost all of this area and Gondor, and I think to beat Mordor, so it was pretty interesting. And I thought about redoing that series for a while, but I'm just not sure. Rumors of lost glory. Since our exile from Umbar at the hands of the so-called pragmatists, we of the Ar-Adunaim have heard many rumors from the mainland. The Corsair lords mutter still about the unfortunate fire in the Great Haven itself, fuming ever more loudly about our continued freedom on this barren islands. While it has been our goal to build a city here, anew, Arminolith and Middle-earth, there are many more places in this world where the Numenorean Empire once held sway, and many of these have fallen into disrepair. I see, so you get an option to choose where you want to go. One such stronghold, the great city of Tharbad, screams out for a strong hand, a Numenorean hand. Shall we leave these islands in the judgment of lesser men behind us and brave the wrath of the sea to claim dominion over the ruins of a new land? Shall we bring the might of the Adonai once more to the desolate wilderness of Eriador, its iron rule to what backwards peasants we find there? No, I will not resign myself to a ruin. We will stay here. And that is how you keep it, I'm pretty sure, because I think if you do the other thing, you have the option of not being able to play as his daughter. I'm pretty sure, because I think they have to stay here. And around the middle or like the end of the 5th month, this popped up. It is a late on a particularly cold evening as my guard captain throws open the doors of my chamber, startling me awake. As I regain my composure, the man reports, "My lord, a fire has been set to the lower levels of the palace, and the culprit has made her escape." It doesn't take long for him to spit out the traitor's name. It is of my own blood. The young sorceress Arfazel has seen fit to set aflame one of the storage rooms to make her flight from the palace. How dare she? Ever since her talent for the dark arts were discovered, we have sheltered her, kept her safe behind the walls of my own stronghold, and this is how she repays me with flames and treachery. I do wonder what she plans to do now, which will allow us to play as her, Princess Arfazel of Ar-Adonaim. And now we are the princess, and as you can see, she is ambitious, stubborn, diligent. She's a mastermind philosopher. She's a novice sorcerer. She's intelligent, she's comely, and she has the blood of the Numenor rank 2. I watch the sun rise over the coast, taking in the salty sea breezes. Finally, I am free. Finally, I am master of my own fate. Ever since I was born, I was kept under close watch by those who call themselves my family. Oh, this is Elsa, my cruel father and brothers, and that lecherous priest Varkan. Not once was I permitted to leave the confines of the palace, doomed to a pitiful existence within a gilded cage, rotting away with my mother and my sweet sisters, the only close kin that I will miss. But they taught me how to wield their dark arts, for which I showed great talent. And those powers have now burned away my chains and opened my path to freedom. I turn away from the ocean and look towards the small camp I have set up. This will be the beginning of my new life, a life lived for myself and not for others. I think it would make sense if she kept to her old faith, because I think I leave the shadows behind doesn't make sense, because you get you convert to Olmo. That doesn't make sense. I also don't think it makes sense that she would go with the ways of her ancestors, so I'm going to do the darkness shall guide me. You reaffirm your faith, staying true to your upbringing, because it's with that faith that she escaped in the first place. I don't think she hates her faith and her upbringing as much as she hates the fact that she was kept in a cage, so we're going to do the darkness shall guide me. Finding myself wandering the streets of Ramshad, my thoughts turn to the future. I've put enough of a distance between my family and myself to be sure that they either gave up their pursuit or lost my trail. I could start anew from here, and yet part of me wishes to go back once I've gathered enough strength and tear down any semblance of power that my father Gimlicott still bears. To see him humbled before me as I take his place on the throne would work wonders to heal some of the wounds I've suffered on that blasted island. Ramshad is a city of many opportunities. Do I spend some of my coin I brought with me to hire able fighters, or do I find it within me to finally let go? You could do Vengeance is Folly, or you could do I will see my father laid low. I feel like the whole reason she left was to do this, and I think you get some archers for this. That's pretty good. I think she would want revenge. She literally burned down a storeroom, so I'm going to say I will see my father laid low. I will not let anyone dictate my choices in life any longer. That much is assured, and yet all my life I was Arfazel of Ar-Adonaim. That name does carry a certain weight, even now. If I willed it, I could decide to sunder myself even further from my family, branching off into a house of my own. No master commands me now at last. And yet, I may find that there is still something deep inside that wishes to keep the final link I have to my family, to my sisters, alive. I like the idea of becoming a new house. I will forge a new path, a new dawn. We can get a couple intellectuals. I think it would be probably more beneficial to get some, I'm gonna grab the eloquent conversationalist because they seem to be a little bit better. And then I'm also gonna give myself the learning focus, and we'll do sagacity, of course, because we're, you know. Oh, don't hit go, what the hell? Available camp purpose. We could do scholars, which is pretty good. Gives you a bonus to a lot of those contracts. We could do a little escort emissary. Let's see what kind of men-at-arms. Okay, we can only get one. No, we can't. We can get more. And it looks like we can get the everything but the holy or the royal guard, which I believe the royal guard are spearmen. These guys counter spearmen. Armed with long polearms, heavy armor, and shields. The hefty equipment of these soldiers marks them as the heavy soldiers within the Black Numenorean army. I see. One regiment of these dudes. And then within my camp, I'm going to grab the Proving Grounds. I'm going to see if anybody's good as a second. Both of them are actually pretty solid. You get a spread of all of their skills, kind of. And they're both fine. The speed... Honestly, safety is a little bit more important than speed. Neither of them are very good at being a physician. But that you can kind of give them a bonus. You can make them train and improve their skills. You can lose a little bit of prestige a month. It's not a big deal. Available camp purpose. I kind of want to just keep it as wanderers. Explorers is also kind of fine. Swords for hire is good. But it costs 1,000 prestige to change it. We don't have to do that. And then for now, it looks like there's a story contract available, which is, we could do this, or we could do the quick escort emissary, which is going to give me like 94 gold. And we'll get some scout for talent, because we might be able to find some stuff. And we can get Pathfinder, Wilderness. This is fine. Start traveling. Let's see what we did. And then there's going to be some things along the way that we can read. And we are, I believe, near the city of Umbar, which is actually to the south. Never mind, we're over here. We're in Ramshad. Oh, an army of 600 men. For 50 gold? Actually, he would be an excellent bodyguard. Let's add him. Bandits on the bridge. And now that I have this dude, he can fight them. So perfect that I recruited him. He was wounded, but it looks like he healed right away. He's actually really good. He'd be a great, probably heavy infantry captain. I also love the way this character looks. She's got like a really cool regal look to her. Does she have any artifacts? Looks like no. All right, easy. Little exotic contract. Just wanted to grab something really fast. I think that's being built. And then I'll grab the heavy infantry captain. No, I do not want to follow a child. I took some money from a tomb. And with that, I'm going to do, which I believe it's personal bouts. Increases heavy infantry damage by like 30%, which will do great for these guys, which I can also refill them probably with, yeah, with provisions. Perfect. So now we have a bunch of more of those. I think she has pretty good, oh, she has great stats actually. Holy crap, I didn't even notice. All right, she's better again. I wanted to wait till she was doing well before I did this story contract. So I got a high tier aid. This is the story contract. I can request gold. Wouldn't be bad. A random men-at-arms. What kind of men-at-arms do you guys have? Desert javelins? It's actually not so bad. But I also get access to these black Numenorean men-at-arms, so I don't really know if I want to do that. These are no cost, and having a second regiment would probably be really beneficial, so let's just get those. All right, now let's do this first story contract, which is Aid Mirlond. To the north lies the great haven of Marzalan, known to the scattered men of Harandor as Mirlond. The Lord of Mirlond has sent me a message inviting me into his residence to discuss a lucrative contract. The details are yet unclear, but in the message it was made clear that the outcome of this contract will affect the fate of the entire city. As I arrive in the city of Marzalan, I am quickly escorted into Iron's residence, I think is how you say his name. He offers me a lavish choice of food and drink, inviting me to sit at his table so we may speak about the reason for my coming. Lady Arfazel, he begins, his voice silken and respectful. I have heard of your plight and your daring escape from that dreadful island. Glad am I to see such a songbird as you set free at last. His eyes fixate mine as he gives me a slight nod. I've also heard of your talents. Much am I in need of them. Advise me and I shall reward you handsomely, granting you protection within my walls for as long as you require it. At last, Iron falls silent, expecting an answer from me. If it is my counsel you desire, you shall have it. Hearing me accept his offer, Iron seems satisfied. Very good, Lady Arfazel. Now let us get to the matter on which I require your counsel. He unfolds a large map of the city and the surrounding regions, showing the mouth of the river Harnan and the coast to the north and south of it. Mirlond is a melting pot of at least 3 distinct peoples. The Harandarim, sundered kinsmen of the folk of the South Kingdom, have dwelt here since the waxing days of Gondor. But it is the Harus that were here before them. And of course, there are the proud Ambarians, and all 3 folk now strive for control of my city. Tell me, lady, who should I favor as the days darken and war looms on the horizon? No stone unturned. This is interesting. So you can choose the Harandarim, the Harus, or the Ambarans. I would get the Corsair Lord. I'd get him as my role of patrons regardless. This is interesting because I don't really know anything. The Harus were here before them. Let me look. Oh god, this is a tough one. Let me look at the cultures. The Harus are probably the biggest in the area, and the Ambarians are small. I'm gonna say the Harus. Locals pacified for 10 years. Please, the peasants. Or no stone unturned. I'm gonna do the Harus, I think, because they're like the dominant culture of this region. A well-known savior. I have been careful, so very careful ever since I escaped my Angazain. I think it's the palace, but it seems I haven't been careful enough. As I pass through an alley in Marzalan, it takes only a second, a tiny distraction. A knife is pressed against my throat and my hands are bound behind my back. Before I have time to process my capture, my assailant suddenly lets go of me. I feel his weight against my back as he slumps forward, blood pooling beneath his lifeless body. It seems I came just in time. A familiar voice says. I turn around and recognize Argandur, one of my father's knights. Why did he save me? I know you do not trust me, Arfazel, but I wish to earn that trust. I've saved your life, and I'm willing to do it again. I've left your father's service to keep you safe. I must consider carefully if this man can be of help to me. I mean, he did just save my life, sure. I mean, it could be interesting even if it's not good. It appears, I think what we're gonna have to do now is basically just wait. Let's get on with this task. We'll just regale him, because we'll probably get like a contract from it. Master at Arms, I will do Angandir, because he's pretty solid, and now these guys should get, yeah, really great. And here's our story contract, perfect. It's 8 Harfalas, which we'll do that in a second once this is all wrapped up, because we're doing this contract real quick. Okay, perfect, our personal bouts are completed. So now we have a heavy infantry captain, which will give heavy infantry damage plus, what is it, 10%? Oh yes, okay, so there you go. So now his royal guards, even though he technically has these guys, he only has 50 of them, and they only do 78 damage, whereas mine do 110 with 34 defense. These guys have more defense, so they'll probably lose a little bit on the exchange, but there's more of them by, like, you know, 300. It probably would also be wise to get these guys because they counter so many different things. I don't think he has any cavalry though. He has these corsairs. These are just skirms. They do counter heavy infantry, but again, they're like super weak. Got our first perk, which I think the best one is Camp Scientist because it increases men-at-arms counter efficiency, decreases siege phase time, and it gives a bonus modifier when you have steadfast camp. Like people. Honestly, the learning tree for landless adventures is like really, really solid. So there's a bit of a plague up there, so I kind of want to leave that alone. This is progressing pretty nicely. It's going to be done here in a second. Execute this game with a 100% chance, and we gain 375 prestige. He's on a roll of patrons. We gain progress in the legacy of Belfalas Theme. Yeah, okay. He did not give us any money, which is kind of unfortunate. What is this? Sauron's Fever. You know, it's a 3-star affliction that does not seem to be letting up at all. I'll wait till that goes away because I really don't want to step into that. It feels like a bad move. I could potentially negotiate an alliance with my dad. I wouldn't do that. Seems silly. Interestingly, this does not seem to be dissipating whatsoever. It's sort of just chilling, although it's actually not touching this county, so let's just go there. Up along the coast of Harondor lie many smaller ports that have changed hands often in the wars between Gondor and the Haradrim. One of them is Harfalas, currently ruled by a lord of the Harandorim. Upon hearing of my success in Mirlond, the lord of Harfalas has requested my assistance in a delicate matter, inviting me to come visit as soon as I may. Let's do it. I would say customize your route a little bit. So you go this way, and then on the way back, do the same thing. That way you're not touching the the plague. Soon enough, I find myself in the private chambers of High Lord Linhir of Harfalas. Linhir, maybe? Only one trusted servant stands at his side, signifying the importance of this private matter.
This is about my wife, Bartimus.
He explains.
She has been seeing other men, more than once. And though I love her dearly, I do not know what should be done about the whole situation. How would she fare were her secret to be exposed? But there must be consequences in some form or another, no?
So am I just like a counselor? She has dishonored you, my lord. Imprisonment is only just. Do I want... But do we know how this dude is? He's shy, he's fickle, and he's chaste. Whereas she is just and temperate. It's weird because I feel like I want to know more about the situation. That's a tough one. Which one would I pick? It is important to show clemency as a ruler, and it also is your wife. If she had, I mean, if he's caught her seeing men more than once, I guess he probably doesn't want the dishonor of this happening more than, I think she has to imprison her. Just as I make my way towards the gate of Harfalas, intending to leave town after completing my contract, I hear a commotion in the alley up ahead. I see a young woman about to be attacked by a threatening figure who raises a dagger. As I get a few steps closer, I see the lady's guard incapacitated on the ground. She's attempting to fight off her attacker, but has received a cut across her forearm already. If I wish to intervene, the time is now. This will end any further story contracts. A swift strike at the assailant will end this. A swan far from home. The would-be assassin falls to the ground, momentarily stunned by my blow to the back of the head. The guard recovers, dragging the assailant away as the young woman turns to me. "By the king, you saved my life!" she exclaims. Before I can react, I find myself embraced in a tight hug. It takes a second before the stranger backs away, an apologetic smile on her lips. "Forgive me, lady, and pray let me say my name. I am Firion, at the service of yourself and your family, here on a diplomatic mission of great importance. But you must tell me your name. I am in your debt from this day to my last." I tell her that I am Arfazel, currently a guest of the Lord of Mirlond. Firion nods eagerly before she turns to leave. "I will write to you soon, Lady Arfazel. I will not forget your kindness." As she turns the next corner, I wonder if this was as fateful an encounter as it would appear to be. It is time to return to Mirlond and get some rest. We go closer to developing a friendship. All right, so now we got this one. So let's just upgrade our pavilion now, get it out of the way with that 200 gold that we just got so we can get a little bit more men-at-arms. Cool. New story contract. Let's go. Oh, it's up here. The summons to Linhir. Or a summons to Linhir. A letter arrives in my camp sent by Lady Firion of Linhir, or Linhir, whose life I saved during my stay at the city of Harfalas. She invites me to visit her father's court in order to properly thank me for a rescue and to discuss new opportunities for me in Gondor. And is it surrounded by this plague? It is not! Very interesting. Travel to accept. I think what we will do is we'll do one of these. We'll go here, and then we'll visit Dol Amroth, and then we'll go on the way back. We'll go this way too. That way we can kind of avoid the plague. We will have to pay for captains, which is fine. There is one tiny spot that we have to figure out. Okay, hold on. From here, for sure go here. and then go to here. Yes, perfect. And then on the way, the same thing on the way back, go there, and then go there, and then go, wait, no. And then from here, go to Dol Amroth. Perfect. So then it's much smaller risk. And then we will also visit Dol Amroth, which, as you guys know, one of my favorite places in all of the lore. I always love these story things. There's another one that I plan on doing probably within a week or so for one of the mods. That's one of the sub-mods for Realms in Exile. Yeah, you can take the armor off for a price. Why not? I will take those 31 gold. I will take your 21 gold. And I will take your 26 gold. Thank you very much. So kind of you all. You're all very generous and kind. And I think with that last one, we'll get some of these bad boys. And then we'll refill all of them with provisions. Beautiful. So now we have 700 troops, and we have one of each kind. These are, for the King's Men, archery is an ancient tradition. The noblest among their rank wield the Narduba whib, yeah. Antique steel bows renowned for letting loose arrows with such strength that they cause a distinct whistle in the wind. These are the steadfast pillar soldiers, form the main body of the Ardunek armies. Armed with large shields, they march into battle with grim determination and fiercely support the cause of the King's Men. We are in Linhir, City of Opportunity. As soon as I arrive at the port of Linhir, Firin takes me to see her father, Lord Harion of Dorn and Ernil. He thanks me for saving his daughter, offering me to stay in his city. Much need have we in Gondor of those we can trust, for the power of the enemy grows ever stronger. You are an honored guest in the house of Dothorin, Lady Arphazel, to whatever end. But Firin draws me to the side, concerned and pensive. In Gondor's name, a name in your tongue is seldom heard of. It may attract unsavory attention, and maybe worse. I suggest a change in identity, says Firin. Even here in Gondor, we have heard of an Umbarian Sea Lord offering a large reward for the capture of his wayward daughter. And there are folks in Gondor who would take that offer. To that end, you should start anew here in this land. Though the shadow grows ever darker, Gondor and Belfalas especially are still havens of freedom and opportunity. You can be safe here. But I have been Arphazel my whole life, and leaving my identity behind is not a step to be taken lightly. Do I agree to the suggestion of these Gondorians or become one of them? Oh, and become one of them. No, so this is the culture that you can change to, which you'll become a Belfalarim. Nowhere else in Gondor is the island culture of Numenor of old so well maintained as in Belfalas, due to the specific nature of the aboriginal Dane presence on this peninsula. Most of the Belfalarim kept a greater amount of Numenorean blood. The people of Belfalas are proud people who rarely take oaths if they can help them, or if they can't fulfill them, and often are more romantic than the average Gondorian. But Belfalaric nobles and townsfolk usually are fluent in two languages, Westron and Sindarin, and many of them admire elves to the point of emulating their customs. I feel like, if anything, this would be the one that you would want to emulate. We could change our name, but then our faith is kind of silly. However, maybe she's becoming worldly. We are also Arphazel of the Arphazel house, so that's kind of silly. So let's do it. Let's change our name. After speaking with her father, Firin takes me to see the residence. As we stop at a window overlooking Linhir's sizable port, she looks at me. I suggest you change your name, Arphazel. Names in the speech of Numenor of old are not entirely unheard of in Gondor these days, and Belfalas especially, but they're still rare enough to stand out. I know this is not an easy decision, but would you consider some of the names I've written down here? She hands me a parchment listing a number of names. I read them and decide. A direct translation would be simplest. Araniel would be her name. Arvarian. Sithwen. Like a shining star escaped from the shadow. Gildis. That's a pretty name. The name of a great woman. I hope I can live up to her. Melian. Arvarian. Arvarian's a good one. Or Araniel. Araniel is a pretty name too. I like kind of both of these. Oh, and it gives me a barber's tent for free. I will do a direct translation, Araniel. And I will settle a boundary dispute just because it's cheap. I will not hire captains. So I'm now part of this culture. Some travel contracts, really, really easy. You guys know that I love an easy contract. This is far as hell, good God. It's gonna take 9 months to travel there. We can also do sorcery. We are still of this other faith, the where we worship this old guy, the other guy, the old guy. I don't know why I said the old guy. Oh, and now we can get, so we can't get any more of those, but we can now grab Swan Knights, which we are definitely going to do. And I probably would get rid of probably these guys and then grab like trebuchets, because these guys get rid of skirmishers and archers. I guess we could just get. Probably get rid of these guys, actually. They're cheap. And then just get a regiment of Swan Knights. Pretty interesting. New learning perk. Let's see what we can get. I think if you go down this one too. Yeah, men-at-arms recruitment cost minus 25%. That is big, because now I think that these Swan Knights will be 171. It's nothing. Literally nothing. These guys would be great as counters, but I definitely want to keep this guy. I think I can actually get trebuchets now. No, they're 61. And there we go. We completed our contract, and we excelled at this one. I think I can ask him for money, which I will do, because it's 200. And I can ask you for money, but it's 100. 200 prestige is what I meant, by the way, if you were wondering what I said. It's 200. I'm going to get rid of those, and I'm going to grab some Swan Knights. And it is only 50. However, nobles of Numenorean origin, these elite knights on huge grey war horses are the finest horsemen of Gondor, famed for their courtesy and martial skill. Objectively, or subjectively, I guess, not objectively. Subjectively, these guys are probably among the greatest horsemen in Middle-earth at the time of the War of the Ring. Maybe just behind the Riddermark, since they like live on horses, but probably about the same. Oh, I never chose a camp purpose either. Interesting. A story contract available. Across the mouth of the river Harnan lies the walled harbor of Ramshad. A missive reaches me sent by the local lord requesting my assistance. The matter at hand is kept vague, likely due to the concerns of the message being intercepted. Travel to accept. And easy enough. If I got rid of these, no danger, so might as well not spend the extra money. Let's go. So we're leaving Linhir. We've converted our culture to Belfalas Theme, I think. Or Belfalic. As I approach the city of Ramshad, a smile appears on my lips. It was here that I finally stopped running and looking over my shoulder after winning my freedom. I return now with the local lord's summons in my hand, and the gate wardens let me pass. Near Ramshad's markets, I meet with Tharseth, my contractor.
I have heard many great things about you, he greets me. Have you heard of the vast catacombs that lie beneath the city? There are many treasures to be found down there, but my interest lies in only one. A scroll dating back to the Second Age, when both Ramshad and Marzalan were ruled by the same dynasty. If this scroll could be found.
His smiles, leaving the rest to my imagination. Oh, this guy's my... You reject this guy's contract. We could also search the catacombs and just see it. Could be interesting. He's Umbarian. This guy is also Umbarian, actually. And they worship the sea, kind of. I'm kind of curious to see what would be down there. Soon enough, I find myself deep underground, lantern in hand. The air is heavy in this place, and my boots kick up layer upon layer of dust with each step. Here, countless lords and ladies have been laid to rest over millennia. I feel uneasy, but push onwards. After what felt like an eternity, I finally stumble upon a dark chamber filled with dusty records and trolls and torn scrolls aplenty. I sit down the lantern on one of the broken stone tables in the center of the room and begin to comb through what's left of the old documents. All right, let's see here. I found the ancient scroll. An encounter in the gardens. Making my way through the streets of Ramshad, I pass through a small garden near one of the city gates. Near the garden's exit, I am approached by a young girl. Would you spare a coin for the hungry? She asks timidly. I look at the child. It is obvious that she lives on the streets, but for some reason she gives me a different impression than most other common street urchins. Come with me. If you make yourself useful, I will keep you safe. I will make you my ward. Don't know if I should have done that contract, but I kind of wanted to see if the catacomb would have like a long one. We can get another one of these, and I will refill. Now we have 100 of those, and 100 Swan Knights is probably about as many as you would need. Like, they're not super strong, or they're not super weak. Superior? I don't think so. A new story contract? We'll go there in a second. Probably try to get around 1,000 troops. That should be enough to defeat my father. I don't know when the story arc ends, but so far I'm enjoying this. Toil and hard work. Diligent, excellent. This is going really slow. It's been 5 years. Not too long. She's what, 23? She's basically a child. Like, they live a lot longer. He's 88. I think when I played as him, he lived to be like... My father, uncle, and rival is so weird. I think he lived to be like 200. Or like 160, because I ended up finishing it as his son. I think her brother... Gimmelthon, I want to say, was the one that we finished with, because I think the oldest brother died. I don't know, it's been a while since I played that series, so I couldn't tell you. I think it was like 2023 or, like early 2023, mid 2023 that we did it. Knight effectiveness per learning skill, pretty good. I think with the bonus, we'll be able to get this 95% success chance. And there's still a chance I could fail. I don't trust CK3. It's like XCOM. There we go. I gained... I did not get the money, by the way. The contract did not work. I waited all that time and nothing came up. Actually, zip. Whatever. Guess we'll do this. I've received a mysterious message from a stranger offering me a unique opportunity, but it will soon expire. A stranger wishes to meet me at the docks at the southern end of the island of Belfalas, promising a special reward. I don't like all of this, this special talk. It makes it sound very suspicious. Or you know what? We can do it on the way out, probably too, huh? Just go to Gilras. And then we'll grab captains because apparently the waters here are treacherous. Except. A short while after stepping off the ferry that brought me to the Isle of Belfalas, I am approached by a man in a gray cloak, spear in hand. You must be Aranel, he greets me with approval in his voice. I've heard much about you. You're as impressive in person as the tales make you out to be. I'm not sure how to react to that, so I simply ask for his name and the reason for our meeting. Where are my manners? He says, smiling apologetically. I am Galador, a wanderer from afar, and I present you with an opportunity. Your sister, Ardunafel, is dear to you now. She's here, on a corsair ship docked in a cove nearby. If you are willing, I will lead you there so we may try to rescue her. What do you mean? You're a Dunedain? Very well. Lead the way, Galador. After nightfall, Galador and I approach the hidden cove where the black-sailed corsair ship is moored. Leaving my doubts behind, I edge closer to the stranger as he peers around a large rock to watch for enemy lookouts. There are 2 ways to go about this. We either rely on secrecy or surprise. What shall it be, Aranel? Araniel, I guess. We rely on stealth. Let's sneak aboard. I managed to sneak past the watchman. We regroup near the docks as the sun rises in the east. As Galador begins to say his goodbyes, I stop him and ask where he comes from. After a few attempts of evading the question, he simply says, You are persistent, I'll give you that. He says with a smile, Very well then. I am Galador, of Hars Artenos, one of the Dunedain of the north. As for my reasons of coming so far south, I shan't reveal them, at least not just yet. Alright, keep your secrets, I think to myself as he finally turns to leave. We could become lovers. I hope to see you again soon, Galador. You're so handsome. Bold. Cove of Owinin, the burial place of the Prince of Belfalas and Tofalas, and Mirazir's Hollow is in a small cove on the northwestern shores of Tofalas, one of the few sacred sites of the Dunedain of Gondor. The cove holds the last surviving, Heir tree? I can't remember how to say those. These fragrant trees were native to Numenor and the symbol of the covenant between Maya Unin and the Guild Adventurers. It was the custom among Numenorean mariners to place a cut along the, again, I don't know how to say it, on the prows of their ship. Called the Green Boughs of the Return as a symbol of good fortune. Ulinin's power still protects the Hallows to this day. And then we did not read this. Surrounding the city are the Numenorean walls, part of which include the Great Gate, predate the downfall, though built on a less impressive scale than others more famous Gondorian fortifications. The walls of Linhir still make the city a formidable redoubt and refuge for Corsair raids. Or from Corsair raids, not for. That would make no sense. Fighting for the Kingdom of Ithilien. It's going to be a couple years and then Aragorn will return. I wonder if we can help participate in that. That'd be interesting. Oh, we got some money. So we can increase our men-at-arms if we so wish. I get 2 of these probably. Maybe upgrade the barber's tent to get some. Actually, getting 120 of these would probably be the best. Yeah, we'll do that later. +1 faith hostility advantage because we probably will end up converting our faith. I became the dynasty head. A new story contract. The Lord of Saruman has contracted me, seeking aid in the construction of a new port on the far side of the Cape of Andrast. My help is wanted in order to help the settlement there grow into a proper town. I'm confused as to like the nature of this character. Like, what exactly is her goals? She's very interesting. Yeah, they made it a little safer. We'll do that. There's one big danger, but it shouldn't be too bad. So we'll take the sea, because taking the land is always like precarious. He replaced me. Unbelievable. And then we are gonna go here, which is a royal estate situated on the very tip of Andrast. It was the westernmost habitation in all of Gondor at its height. At times, the kings withdrew here for solitude or meditation, far from the courts of Osgiliath or Minas Arnor. Bar Morthil was founded by Isildur, an Anarian, in the Second Age 3332 as a memorial to the lost westerness. The westward-facing promontory on which the manor was built was considered to be a hallowed place because it offered the observer the most westerly vantage point for recalling the land of gift and the Meneltarma? The Meneltarma, I think. A hopeful coast. I step off the ship, careful not to lose my footing on the uneven ground before me. No quays have yet been built here. Only the foundation of a few initial buildings have been laid so far, but that will change in time. The settlement is full of refugees seeking to escape the looming threat on Gondor's eastern borders, where the shadows of Mordor are rising. Many now flock to the quiet lands of Gondor's westernmost provinces, hoping to build a new existence here, far away from the terrors of war. I instruct my entourage to set up our camp near to the settlement and begin to make plans on how best to aid the new haven's construction. I'll assign my followers to aid the construction directly. Sometime after my arrival in Non-Estel, I'm surprised to see Firion suddenly appearing before me. Lady Araniel, she greets me enthusiastically. I heard you accepted the contract to aid the settlers here and came to see how the work was progressing. It is quite obvious to me that Firion truly came to see me instead of the workers. Still, I feel like there's no harm in her being here. Would you like to show me around? Firion asks. I'd be happy to spend some time with you while I'm here. Oh, I can form a relationship with her as well. Very well, Firion. Come along, then. Am I a bisexual baddie? Dude, I am, hell yeah. Are we doing the contract now? Ah, here we go. It is done. The work has been finished, and the seaside town of Estelon has now become the westernmost of Gondor's havens. A road is being built to connect the town with the rest of the realm, and every day a few new settlers arrive. With my contract complete, I approach Lord Glormagil of Serelond in order to collect my payment. While handing me my reward, he surprises me by offering me ownership of Non-Estelle and her surrounding lands, requiring nothing but an oath of fealty to ruling steward Denethor of Gondor. This is the most unexpected offer, excepting it would mean the end of my travels, at least for now. I would say no, because I have other plans. It has been some time since I last saw Galador. I merely wish to see how you were faring and to offer my help in the months to come. And why is that? I ask, crossing my arms. It is my nature to aid those who deserve it, he replies cryptically. Don't worry, all your questions shall be answered in time. Until then, will you have me? The truth is, I have missed you. Galador is my lover now. Dude, hell yeah. And we can have the blood of Numenor. Sick. With this, oh, I see that was like the little artifact. Let's grab Proving Grounds rank 2, because that will decrease the cost, or no, yeah, that'll decrease the cost of those. And then also, oh, he's excellent actually. Galador would probably be a little bit better. Oh no, he's excellent too. He's average as well. Should be getting more. Oh, this is at 400 already. Let's get some more of these. We'll get 2 more of those, and then I think that's fine for now. Yeah. Then we'll refill our men-at-arms with... We'll scrape the barrel, maybe. Seek volunteers. Do that, and then we could probably refill it with some provisions, perhaps. Maybe not. So now this dude is my lover. Assumedly, we're going to get married. Presumably, I should say. Not assumedly. That doesn't make any sense. So as far as Arphazel goes, it looks like this is where her story ends. Basically, the special content is more to get you like a starting point and then kind of go from there. This is pretty interesting. For what I know of the dev, they have more plans for their story, which I think involve Aragorn and a couple other people as well, sort of like integrating them into Gondor. But I liked this so far. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to definitely attack my father, who somehow still likes me. And I'm going to do one of these bad boys. And I think that we should be able to win. I think I'm gonna maybe try and get a little bit more troops, just to boost our numbers up a bit. We'll do one of these bad boys. Troop count, we should be able to take them on and then finish the video. But I had a good time with this. It is a very interesting sort of like storyline. I can kind of see how this guy might end up becoming your spouse, like your lover or whatever. Available perks, acclaimed authors. So we're actually nearly at scholar already too, which goes to show you how far we ended up getting. Also, I'm going to change since I'm going to be attacking camp purposes, we'll change it to Swords for Hire to give us a little bit of a bonus. And it also gives you an increase to the max amount of men-at-arms regiments you can have. And we have this sick armor now. So pretty rad, I would say. Beautiful, raid success. I think we'd be able to take him on with this 1200, I would say, more than likely. So let's declare war and let's take this duchy over. And then let's finish the story up. I will lead... I don't think I'm back from my contract yet. I gained the trait Fornicator. Oh my god, because I had a child? Or because I'm pregnant? There we go. I will lead the charge. We'll keep her in this armor for now, and then we'll attack. I think we should be able to do this. I have faith in us. I am a little worried about the embarkment penalty, but I think that the embarkment might not cost as much. If I can't beat him in the initial bout, though, I might be screwed. Oh, it says we got a chance. He only has 400 troops. We got this. I think he's attacking somebody else right now, actually. If we can beat this guy... Oh, we did it! I beat my father in combat. It'll take 19 months, but I will end up taking the city. And I became the new dynasty head. And my father is aging, loser. There we go, I married Lord Galador. We get their little storybook ending, and now she's attacking the city. This was fun. I like this sort of like little story arc. I wish it was a little bit longer, unfortunately, but I think this was still pretty neat. I'd be curious to check it out again in the future when there's more updates to it. I had no grand ambitions for this one either, besides just like completing the story beat of her getting revenge on her father and sort of like dethroning him for the cruelty of keeping her locked up forever. I don't think she'd be too involved with a lot of this as far as the story that we saw so far. We got to see a couple of cool different branches and stuff. I also can only assume that there's going to be something that goes on with this because there's a lot of contracts over here. It did sort of feel like confusing as far as like what the overall purpose or like the goal was. It kind of seemed like she was going to maybe be involved in like the conflict over here with these different cultures, or maybe like become Gondorian and become involved in their conflict with Mordor, but nothing ever really bore fruit as far as all of those go, so I'm not sure, but we can only speculate, I suppose, for now. 25 days, and we will take the city and we'll become its new ruler. And we have taken it, and we've also completed the learning the scholar tree. And it's been 16 years since the game started. 17 months, we've taken it, and we are done. So be it. My father, uncle, and rival, you have become a simple adventuring loser. And I have a pretty loyal court here of powerful nobles, and we can also, I believe, cannot build a building slot there. There's usually a special building there, I think, but I guess there's not one right now. But we did it. I mean, we've completed the story beat. Oh, and then you can claim the Sacred Isles. I see. So with this decision, you actually end up getting the option to claim. So if you chose Sailor at the beginning, you could claim all these isles and sort of like stake yourself as like an adventurer on that path. That's pretty neat. I kind of like that. But this was cool. I like this story beat. I hope that you guys had a good time. I thought it was pretty fun. I love checking out the little story characters that are in Realms in Exile. And I have another one planned for... Up here, there's an Arnor expanded mod, and apparently there's a pretty fun story character for that as well, so we'll go through their story here, probably within the next week or so. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. As always, if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will happily see you in the next one.